Electrical power up procedure, battery switch on. Guarded. Standby power selector to auto. Check standby power off light is extinguished. It is. Hydraulic pump electrical switches off, 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 and off. Demand pump selector off, off. Gear lever down, down. And alternate flap selector normal, normal. Electrical power establish. We're going to use the APU today. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then number 7, APU as required, and we are using it. Let's say it's the origination checklist. If first crew flight of the day or after unobserved maintenance has been performed on the flight deck, circuit breakers check. You check your P11 circuit breakers, your P6 circuit breakers, your fire extinguisher, and overwing slide squibs test. Bulk cargo heat selector to norm or vent. If you have animals, you'll be in the vent position. Flight recorder switch to norm. It's in norm. Service interphone switch to off. It's in off. Reserve brakes and steering reset disable switch. Guard closed. It's not displayed. Observer's audio selector panel check. It's not displayed. Flight forms check. You check your AML and flight forms. And flight deck emergency equipment check, which would be PPE, crash X, fire extinguisher, and life vests. When you come back in, go ahead and do the flight deck access system check. That's not displayed on this simulator. The status display you would check. Right here is status. And we see the oxygen pressure looks good and the hydraulic quantities look good. There's no RFs in magenta for refill. And parking brake set. And at this point I'm just going to stop and set up the X-Plane 11. Load the aircraft, and we'll get back with our flows. Next, you want to go to the general pre-flight. This is prior to every flight. Go to the overhead. The IRS mode selectors would go to nav. At this point, you'd want to come down and go ahead and start getting your MCDU set up, or your captain might start getting this set up. Go ahead and initialize the IRUs. We'll start out at a dent. It'll be the 767-300, and you want to make sure the database is effective. This one actually isn't, and then you'd want to make it effective. For position initialization, we're going to be going out of Dallas today. Go ahead and bring that GPS position down. Go to your route. Again, we're going out of Dallas. It's already selected there for me, so I'll just bring it up. And since this is a 767, we'll just call it AAL 767. And you want to go to departure arrivals. Go to departure. We're going to be going off of 18 left today, so we'll go next page until we see 18 left. We'll line select 1R. We're going to be doing the Harper 3 SID today with the Halsey transition, so 2 out or 2 out. And after that, we're going to have to stick in the Texaco transition. So I'll go ahead and go back to route, go through the next page, and go ahead and stick Texaco in there now, which is TXO. Go back to departure arrivals. Go to Albuquerque arrival. We're going to be going off of, we're going to be landing on runway 8. It's going to be the Coulter 3 with the Reckon transition. I just selected 1L, 2L. And then you can go ahead and go through route and activate and check it with your captain, make sure it's okay, execute it. Then if you want to step through the legs and look at it and make sure it's all alright. You can see there's a discontinuity there between Texaco and Reckon. To bring that up, you can just do Reckon, go back to legs, that'll bring you up to the first page. You really want to look at the second page. And put Reckon there, and check, make sure that's okay with your captain, and execute. We'll go ahead and finish up the rest of the box while we're here. For initial reference, init ref, we put in our 0 fuel weight. $255.2 for today. Reserves, that'll be your reserve fuel plus your alternate fuel. Today that's 6.0. Cruise altitude, you want to make sure you use your final cruise altitude, your F cruise altitude, which is 380. The cost index is 22. And you can just follow 6R for takeoff. And we're going to be doing the flaps 15 departure today with the 61 degrees Celsius with a thrust. CG is 27.2 with the 27. The numbers for today for 18 left flaps 15 are 128. 133. And 138. When you get that done in a round dial aircraft, you're going to want to go ahead and double check that with your bugs. So you can't see it on the X-plane very well, but the first bug will be V1, which is 128. You'll memorize your VR rotation speed of 133. V2 will be your salmon bug of 138. There should be more bugs here. They have them all parked, and of course they're unmovable on this sim. But next we would put in 158 V-20 to V2 and put in our next bug of 158 right here. Next, you go to approach. You look at your flaps 30 VREF, and you'd add 80 to that. So that'd be 215, and you'd set your bug right there at 215. Then you'd set your next bug at plus 60, which would 135, and your next bug at plus 40, which would be 175. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and set up the rest of your instruments. We'll go ahead and get rid of this. And the altimeter today is 3005, and the acceleration altitude is 1410. We'll set that at 410. We'll go ahead and set the standby altimeter also at 3005. And by the way, you're going to want to make sure and set 138 in your indicated airspeed from your B2 speed. That will not set automatically in the airplane, so make sure and set up 138 right there. Scroll out a little bit, and the first officers, 1410, 410, and 3005. And we'll come over here, we'll have the captain will usually have a backup nav aid set, like Maverick 310 or something like that. 1310 is Maverick. And then put it in auto, and you can have 176 in there. Might as well turn on the flight director, auto throttle, indicated airspeed's good. You'll want to set up your heading of 176, that's off the SID. 10,000 is the correct altitude. Flight director's on. I usually set up mine to 110.45 in case I'm doing an RNAV RMP. I'll have that all set up and go to auto for that also. Then you're done with that, and you can also use your nav data if you want to find out your airport elevation. This is one way to do it real quick. Albuquerque, which is 5355, and you can go ahead and set that right now for your landing altitude, which would be 5360 around there. And then you would go ahead and do your pre-flight outside. Once you came back inside, you could just go through this checklist all over again and start at the overhead. IRS mode selectors to nav, they're at nav. Yaw dampener switches on, they're both on. Electrical engine control switches on, they're on. Hydraulic pumps panel set, this is set with the two engine driven pumps on, the electrical pumps off, and the ADP off. Evacuation command, switch guard closed, it's not depicted on the X-plane. HF radios, as required, not depicted on the X-plane. Battery and standby power control panel test and set. The test, just go to battery and make sure there's no off light, and you'll see the main discharge light, and then back to auto. Electrical panel set, your APU generators in, bus ties are on auto, the left and right utility buses are on, and the left and right generator control switches are on. APU would be on, of course, and running. Cockpit voice test recorder, you press test, it's missing the window where you would see the 4 bumps, but you would hold the test, and watch it bump up 4 times for a complete test. Light panel set to however you want it set. Emergency light switch guard closed, it's closed. Passenger oxygen on light extinguished, extinguished. Ram air turbine unlock light extinguished, it's extinguished. Let's say the first officer is flying today, so this will be on the number 2 position for the engine control panel. These would both be in auto. These would be off and closed, and these would also be off your C pumps. You can see right now that the forward left pump is providing fuel for the APU. The fuel panel set, we've got the fuel we want, 30,000 for the flight. Anti-ice panel set, it's 14 degrees Celsius, so nothing on the engine needs to be on, and we never use the wing on the ground. Wiper selector off, Lighting panel set. Go ahead and turn on the position light. Window heats, and none of these lights would be on. Window heat switches on. Turn those on now. HF radios as required. Off. Passenger sign panel set. That would be on and off for the seatbelts. On for the no smoking. Off for the seatbelts. Cabin altitude control panel set. That would be indexed. It'd give you a 500 foot per minute climb, 300 foot per minute descent. Auto 2, since the first officer's flying. Equipment cooling switch off, Equipment cooling mode selector auto, it's in auto. Lighting panel set, it's set where I want it. Indicator light test switch, you go ahead and press that. Some of them you have to hold, some of them will go on their own. You just check and make sure there's no holes in any of the lights. Everything's lit up the way it's supposed to be. And don't forget to check that too. Cargo heat switches on. This is a little out of order. They'd be over here. I'll go ahead and turn them on. Air conditioning panel set. It's set. These are all indexed to the left a little bit. Trim air's on, left and right recirc fans on. Our air cooling's on. And the packs are on. Fleet air panel set. That's set with the packs on auto. The isolation switches are on. Left and right engine. And APU bleed switches on. Standby compass check. It's got fluid and the deviation cards there. DOR, DME switches auto. They are both in auto. MCP set. We did that. The captain's all set up. Flight director's on. Flight auto throttle's armed. The airspeed is set. Heading set. Altitude set. The disengage bar is up. Flight director's on. And mine's in auto too, and it's set also. Standby instruments check. Attitude indicator, airspeed indicator, altimeter, all look good. Standby engine indicator selector auto. This is it. It's in auto. That's your standby engine indicator selector. Or standby engine indicator. Reserve brake steering switch off. Over here, and it is off. Auto brake selector off. It's off. ICAS display check. We'll go ahead and run through these. Looks like the entry doors. That's all because of the X-plane. And while we're here, we'll just go ahead and button everything up on the X-plane side of things. And go back into this app. Just to give you a look around. This is what we're looking like outside with all the equipment. The loader, the fuel. We're doing this all on the runway just to expedite things. You can see we're on runway 18 left in Dallas. The 767. Almost ready for takeoff. check. We're good there. The oxygen pressure, like we said, the hydraulic quantity. ICAS control panel check. That all looks good. Thrust reference set on the computer. And then the engine and status look good. And these are your brightness knobs for the two. Heading reference switch norm. It's in norm. Alternate flaps panel set. That's set. It's in norm. The leading edge and trailing edge lights are not pushed in. Or selectors are not pushed in. Landing gear panel set. It's set. Gears down. Blue green. Terrain override switch off. It's off. Ground prox flap override switch off. That's off. Ground prox config gear override switch off. That's off. Now we'll move to the pedestal. While we're at it, we'll go ahead and set these down to 20, negative 20. Both the data's on. So we both got them set to a 10-mile range. Alternate stab, trim level, levers and switches neutral. Those are neutral. Speed brake lever down, is down. Reverse forward thrust levers, down and close. Flap lever set, it's at 0. It indicates 0 and it was 0 outside. Parking brake set. Stab trim cutout switches. Guards closed. Fuel control switch. Give you a little bit better view of those. Fuel control switch is cut off during cutoff. Weather radar test, it's not depicted here, but there's a test button. Push it right there. Engine fire panel set, it's set. Cargo fire panel set, it's set. APU fire panel set, it's also set. TCAS transponder panel test and set. You come down to test and you'd hear TCAS test, okay. I'll go ahead and set in the code line that it's 1011 for the day. And then go back to standby when the test is over. Fire overheat detection system test. You go down here. This only has one test, but there'd be a 752 test and then a 1052 test. You can barely see it, but there's some of the lights you'll see. Maybe the shift up just a little bit. I might be able to switch this. Lights. So a little bit. Aileron and rudder trim set, you want to make sure it's at 0, and then you look at your steering column, which is not displayed on the X-plane, and you look over it, and that would be a 0 also. Okay, that's part 1. We'll go on to part 2, where me and the captain do power flows. Thanks.